Hey, my name is Anton and welcome to my very first Apple Motion tutorial. So I stumbled upon this YouTube video the other day and I really liked the look of repeating text against bold colored backgrounds. I wanted to see if I could replicate a similar look myself, and I posted a sample on Instagram and someone actually asked if I had a tutorial for it. I thought, hey, that's a good idea. I should first say that I am not a motion designer at all. I am simply a one-man band video producer, shooter, editor here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm just trying to expand my skill set. So anyway, wanted to see if I can create this tutorial and maybe help some other folks out. Okay, so here I am in Motion 5. For your information, my project settings are 1920 by 1080, frame rate 29.97, duration is 5 seconds. Obviously, you can choose whatever frame rate you'd like, so do you. First thing I am going to do is create a text layer. So, click the text, put it here. Alright, so what I will do is, what word should we use? Let's just use lorem ipsum. I want this to be centered as much as possible. I do like this font, Montserrat Bold Italic, so you can go ahead and, obviously use whatever you want. I will also make sure that the position is zeroed out. So go back to text. I do like it probably around 140 size, so that's pretty good. So what you want to do next is you want to replicate this. So just hit the L key, and there you go. Replicator is automatically applied with its default parameters. I will probably reduce the columns to 1 and set this to 9 for the rows. And for size, let's see, let's go ahead and get it up to maybe like right there. And let's go back into the properties for the replicator along the y-axis. Let's kind of move it down here. Great. So I am just going to keep the text white. You can change the color if you'd like. So what I will do now is in this replicator, I'm going to add the sequence replicator behavior. So what I want to do now is in the behavior inspector here, the parameter I want to add is opacity. So what I will do is I will move this all the way down to 0. You can see kind of what this behavior is doing, right? Okay, that's actually not the behavior that I like. Through. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then through inverted, I think, is basically the reverse of that. So all this stuff looks kind of cool. What you can do is the spread, I moved it down to 0, because what that does is instead of fading out, it's basically just like cutting in and out. The action is happening from the middle of the replicator, and I don't want that. I want it to start from the top. So I can go to the replicator here, and the origin I will do top. So as you can see, it's just going all the way down. So I kind of like that. I'll go back to the replicator here. I'm sorry, the sequence replicator. And let's kind of give it maybe like, I don't know, 3 loops. And for the end condition, let's do ping pong. So what that does now is as you scroll through, it just kind of ping pongs up and down, right? Great. So that's the animation that I want for this one. So what I will do now is I will actually, let's name this group, right? Let's name this solid text. So what I want to do now is duplicate this. So now I have a solid text copy. I'm going to rename this as outline text. So what you'll do now is you will go to the, like, let's say I turn the solid text off, right? Now this is the same, it's a duplicate. So what I need to do is I need to go in to the main source, the text layer, go to the appearance, remove the face, do outline, select white. I like it at 2 for the width. So then now what you're doing is now you've got basically the same action, but with text that's an outline as opposed to the solid. So now both of these, they're all doing the same thing, right? So if you notice on the animation, there are multiple lorem ipsums, but in the outline. So you go back to the sequence replicator and you go to through. So now the rest of them go. So as you go through, now it's doing kind of the animation that looks pretty cool. Now, the next part is if you want to create different colored backgrounds. So let's see, let us make a new group. So let's go add new group. I'm going to move this group all the way to the bottom. And what I will do is make a shape here. I will reset the parameters, zero it all out. I will change the color to, I've already got some defaulted here, so let's do like a bright purple. There you go. So now you've got that, right? And what I wanted to do though is once we get to the frame where you hit the bottom, we change the color. So I will go ahead and duplicate that. So you can rename this if you want. So I'll do rectangle 1 and this can be rectangle 2. So then rectangle 1 will end here. And rectangle 2 will start here. Actually, maybe we'll need to move that back 1. And then we can change this to rectangle 2, change that to maybe, let's just do this bright red. There you go. And then when, again, you can duplicate this, rectangle 3, Rectangle 3 starts here. Rectangle 2 ends there. And then maybe this can change into... Let's do... We already did a... Let's do that. Be a little brighter. Maybe a little greener. There you go. So to go through the animation, and again, you can make adjustments to how many times you want it to loop, and how many times you want it to ping pong. You can even change how the animation goes through and things like that. So what I did when I wanted to get back to the center, that's basically everything else kind of goes away, right? So at this point, I will basically duplicate my rectangle. I will bring it all the way up to like a new group, and here I will will rename this, I don't know, card text, or text card actually. So I want to make sure that as soon as it gets to here, actually it should be this frame is what I want. And what I will do is I will take that solid lorem ipsum, duplicate that, and then move that into this group. Turn it on. Actually, I should have taken the solid one over, but it's fine. I can very easily just change that. But see, now what happens is that it actually isn't centered. Let me go ahead and turn this off here, because remember earlier we actually moved the entire replicator up the x-axis. So with when I copied the text over, it's actually just copying this same position as the original text that I created. But that's real super easy. So what you can do is you can go here, go to the properties, and just kind of lower that to where there it is. And then you can turn that back on. But you also want to make sure that this comes on at the time that you want it to. Boop. And if you notice from my animation, I actually did a couple of other flourishes where I added, I actually made another layer, outline layer, and scaled it up and kind of animated. I actually had to keyframe this, but I ended up keyframing different positions and different values of scale, so you can see the kind of like the different flashes of the outline text along with the solid text as well. And then so at some point, it ended up going back to 100%. So this is basically how I created that animation. I'm the first to admit that I am not a motion designer. I just like to try to navigate my way through Apple Motion to see if I can create similar design elements that I like. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys as well. One of the most fun parts about Apple Motion is just kind of seeing what all the parameters do. So just keep messing around. So I hope this works for y'all. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Happy to answer as much as I can. Again, not an expert. Thanks.